Okay, so we will see the first chapter, that is units and measurements. Okay, so this is the first chapter in physics, 11th standard. Okay, so let us start what they have started with the quantitative. Okay, and what do you mean by quantitative and qualitative? Okay, let us. So if you see in our day-to-day life, we need some numbers to measure. Okay, suppose for example, you want to how tall are you, how heavy are you, okay, or you can say how what should be the length of the rope or thread to tie something, okay, or should be length of it to hang something. Okay, so these are the things. So we know we need numbers. Okay, so there is something called as, it is not always we define by number. There is something called as comparative. I will say you are taller than me, okay, or he is shorter than you, or he is heavier than him, okay, or a stone is heavier than a wood. Okay, so there is something called as, that doesn't need a number. What you call that as a qualitative measurement. Qualitative, qualitative measurements, or qualitative quantities, whatever you call, or qualitative description. Okay, measure. So what do we mean by that is qualitative. In quality, what happens? You don't define a number. What you say, I am taller than you. Okay, so he got higher marks than him. Okay, so or he is richer than him. That's also qualitative. You are not defining how much rich. Okay, or what is the how much he is richer than him. We don't define a quantity there. Okay, so that comes quantity. So we always say the quality. So it's a qualitative approach. So you say I am taller than him, or I am shorter than him. This ball is heavier than this ball. Okay, this product is costlier than this product. So all this, when you speak, what you are going to speak is a qualitative. You are not giving a number to it. Okay, this is healthier than this. Okay, this vegetable is healthier than this vegetable. Okay, so these are all what you call the qualitative. Okay, but in physics is not a qualitative science. Physics is a quantitative science. If I want to say I am taller than you, then I have to define how much I am taller. I am 1.25 times taller than you. The moment I said that, then I am giving a quantity there, I am giving a number there. Okay, so if suppose tomato is 2 times costlier than onion. Okay, or tomato is 2 times cheaper than whatever the beans. Okay, whatever this. So there are many things. Or this is something longer, 2 times longer than that. Okay, so we always, what happened in a quantitative study, we always have certain, in a qualitative study, we don't define a number. We just define whether this is better than this, or lesser compared to this, or more, or it's basically comparative study. The moment when we come into physics, physics is not a qualitative study. In physics, we have to define the quantity. When I say quantitative study, that means you have to give in numbers or fractions. I am 2 times taller than you. I am 3 by 2 or 1.5 times heavier than you. Okay, or if I want to say, see, I got this rope is half the size of another rope. Okay, so what you are having a reference, and then you define with respect to that reference these other quantities. Am I right? So what is that? When I say I am 2 times taller than you, then who is reference for me? Your height. So you are the reference. I am 2 times taller than you. Okay, or I am 3 times heavier than you. That means you are the reference. So that there will be a reference. Okay, and based on the reference, I define my other quantities. So that reference is called as your units. Okay, we call that as a units. Okay, so what they have is, the standard measure of any quantity is called the unit of that quantity. Okay, so normally you are not the unit. Nobody is going to use you as a unit and measure. Oh, this road is 5 times longer than Alvin. You can't tell that, right? So we always should have a certain unit. We will see that. Okay, we will come back. So this one, so there will be always a standard measurement, and how much is more or less with a number. Numerically, you have to define how much it is longer or shorter or whatever you can do, heavier or whatever you can do. Okay. So, you know, you have studied all the units earlier. That means, so in the place of U, if I call meter, I define a certain length. Okay. I define a certain length, I call that as a meter. Then I call that as a meter. Then I say the rope I have said, I have taken is 2 times longer than the meter. Then I call it as 2 meter. If it's 10 times longer than the meter, then I call 10 meter. Okay, so then what happened? What is my reference is becoming? That meter is becoming the reference. Okay, so that meter, so those reference quantity based on which you are going to define the measurement of all the other quantities. For example, kilogram. I have something called as 1 kilogram. Then I will take a potato. I say this is a half a kilogram. That means this is half compared to my actual reference value, 1 kilogram. If it is 5 kg, that means this is 5 times I have some reference kg. 1 kilogram is some reference kg. You got it? That's not a magic number which came from up. So we have defined certain reference. So with respect to that reference, I am going to define all my quantities. Okay, so this is what you call as a quantitative approach. Physics is always a quantitative. You have to define the number with reference to another number. Okay, so that one with reference to what you are going to measure yourself or your product or whatever you want. That reference quantity is called as your unit. Okay, so for length meter is a unit, or even gram. For length even centimeter is also a unit. There are many things. We'll come into that. For mass, you have gram. Okay, gram is a unit, and then you have time also. Okay, second is a unit. Okay, so these are the units. So I am reading this line. You see, physics is a quantitative science where we measure various physical quantities. Okay, so it is not completed, but what it meaning is with reference to something else. Okay, so that reference point is your units. Okay, yeah. The standard measure of any quantity is called the unit of that quantity. The standard measure of any quantity, right? Everything is, I'm going to measure it out. Okay, so then let us go to let us see what are the, but now you know, there are many ways. If you have seen, you had certain thing called as centimeter, okay? And you have also measure something called as kilometer, meter. When it is a weight, you have gram, and then you have kilogram. Okay, so we have many units. You got it? I said this is a unit, right? When I say 500 gram, the unit is becoming the gram. But if I say 5 kilogram, then the unit is becoming kilogram. So we are having different units to define a weight. Similarly for the length also, meter we have, centimeter we have. Okay, so this is called, so if you go back to the human evolution, human was not born with electricity. Correct? Electricity and all we came to know much later. So it all goes to the history of how the kings used to evaluate the tax, or how I get gift quantity. So what was ancient humans, the main quantities which was required for them in day-to-day life, they found only 3 quantities. What is that? What they say is, what are the 3 quantities they had is, one is your mass. Mass is, I have to define, when I want to give a gold, I have to say how much gold I have to give. Or I may tell I will give you 100 gold coins. But then I can't make single gold coin of 10 kg weight. Okay, you have to define some unit for gold coin, then you give the number of it. Okay, so the mass is there. So mass is one of the basic unit which humans were always using. Okay, and now I can't. That's what why this mass coming is. So what I said is we always had a comparative study, correct? So sorry, quantitative measurement is nothing but a comparative. In the comparative study, when you give a number to it, that's when a qualitative study, when you give a number to it, it becomes a quantitative study. But now that number cannot be same for everything. Am I right? Because when I say I am 50 Alvin, or I am 50 some number or some quantity, I have some reference. If I say 50, that's not correct. because I have weight, because I can't say go to your shop and say give me 50 meter of blue cloth. 50 meter of blue cloth you can say. Now you can't say 50 blue cloth. Okay, but you have to define. Okay, you can't go and tell to a vegetable market and say and give me 10 or the grocery and say give me 10 rice. He is not going to give you 10 gallon rice. Okay, so when you say 10, you have to define. Okay, and this is not going to be same for everything. When I'm going to define certain thing as a length, then it has to be a different reference. When I'm going to give it as a mass, that's going to have a different reference. And similarly, when I want to say, okay, you come after 10, I can't tell that. I have to come after, okay, come after 10 minutes. Okay, so when it's a time also, I have to give some reference. Okay, so it is not just the number. When I want to say from qualitative to quantitative, when I'm moving from a qualitative description to a quantitative description, qualitative is just a comparative. Quantitative is I'm going to give a number to it. Okay, when I'm going from quantitative from a qualitative description, it is not just the number is required. I have to have a number as well as what is the reference. Okay, and the reference, what is the reference quantity? Am I going to speak about the mass, or am I going to speak about the distance? Okay, or am I going to speak about the time? So if you go into ancient humans, these three quantities were important for the humans, because they need to know the time for many purposes. Even the kings and all, they need to know the time, they need to know the mass, and they also need to know about the distance. Okay, because they need to calculate. So what they have to see is, you have to define, if I'm able to define these three quantities with some unit, some reference. So I have to give some reference for mass, I have to give some reference for distance, I have to give reference for time. So then I can measure any distance based on my reference, and any mass based on my reference mass. Okay, one of the very common thing at the time people were using is the CGS unit. You know what is the meaning of it? Yes, in centimeter CGS unit, what happened? Mass was used as gram. This G. Okay, I should have written distance mass time. That will be easier for you to follow. Why it comes as CGS. Okay, so I'll write it as distance, mass, and time. Okay, so in a CGS system, what they were using is, this is centimeter. Okay, and the mass is gram, and the time is in seconds. Okay, so here what happened, when I say my distance is in centimeter, that becomes your reference. So then I am going to define every distance with my reference length, that is my centimeter. And similarly, when I take gram, then my reference become gram. Then I am going to measure every mass with respect to my reference mass, that's a gram. Similarly, second. We shouldn't have seconds. Second. Okay, second is again a measurement of time. So then you come after 20 seconds. Okay, it's going to rain after 100 seconds and seconds. Okay, so then we have to define as minutes and hours, that we will see later on. Okay, so then what happened? So it was not the only unit people were using. There were other units also. The other units was MKS. MKS, what happened? In MKS, this will be, M is for meter, and K is for kilogram. Yeah, and it's for second. You got it? Are you clear now? So in this system, so this is the unit now. This is the unit in MKS system. So this is a CGS system. This will be MKS system. In MKS system, your reference distance is meter. Then you define everything with respect to meter. and then your mass is kilogram. And then the second, in olden days, these 3 units, by using these 3 units, they were able to do everything. They were able to, means they are able to, their day-to-day life, they never required any other units. So more or less people were happy with this one. Why this is, so this units, okay, I will come to that. So why you have to add up more. So these units, so all other quantities, all other physical quantities they were able to express in terms of these 3 quantities. Okay, for example, you know velocity, right? Velocity is what? Distance traveled per second, correct? So this will be distance, actually not velocity, speed. Velocity is displacement. Distance by time, correct? So now you have defined a reference for distance and you have defined a reference for time. All I have to do is, okay, this was traveled some centimeter per second, correct? So then what you call all this quantity. So similarly I can have something else also. If you remember what happened, you had energy, right? Suppose potential energy. What is the potential energy? In a gravity, m, g, h, correct? Where m is the mass, g is the acceleration due to gravity, and h is the height at which it is. Okay, so now we can write. So what will be unit of it? Tell me. Mass, you know the mass is, suppose CGS we are using, gram, correct? So the mass will be gram, and then acceleration. G is acceleration due to gravity. So remember acceleration, we know the unit of acceleration, right? What is acceleration formula, you know? Acceleration is the rate of change of velocity, correct? So that means velocity by time, and velocity is distance by time. Okay, so then what happens? So velocity we know. So velocity is what? Velocity unit is centimeter per second by second, correct? So this becomes centimeter per second square. Okay, so then what happens? So this is going to become centimeter per second square, and then the height. What is the height? Height is a distance, centimeter. Okay, so then your potential energy unit will be how much? Tell me. So we call this as this unit will be. So now we say gram. There's only 1 gram. Centimeter square by second square. And do you know what is the unit of energy? We can write it as called as a joules. Joule. Okay, fine. So this is the, what I wanted to say here is, so all other quantities, you take a speed, you take potential energy, you take force, everything we can see they all can be expressed in terms of these 3 physical quantities. Okay, so then these 3 quantities are called as your fundamental units. Okay, and whatever your other quantities you are deriving from this quantity, the speed, potential energy, everything, you call that as your derived units. Example, joules is a derived unit because joules can be expressed in terms of fundamental units. Okay, and similarly when you say force we call it as a Newton. Okay, and what is the force? Force formula is simple. Force is equal to mass into acceleration. Correct? So force equal to mass into acceleration. So mass is what? Mass is gram, and acceleration is, we just found it, right? Centimeter per second square. So g gram centimeter per second square. Okay, actually no, they won't write gm. Sometimes we write gm. I used to write gm, but it can be g. Okay, because gm when you write it becomes like gram and meter. Okay, so then what happens? So mass is gram and centimeter square. So this is going to become, so the unit of force will be g cm per second square. Okay, or this we call it as a Newton also. Correct? So Newton is a derived unit. Okay, so Newton is not a fundamental unit because Newton can be expressed in terms of the fundamental unit. So this is the difference between the fundamental units and derived units. So for all along people were using these units and their day-to-day life was going on very happily. Till then all these scientists came up and started inventing newer things. Okay, so then what happened is then if you actually carefully look, can these 3 units is sufficient for our life in today's life? Can you express a boiling water in terms of centimeter, gram or second? You can't say water is boiling 50 gram. You can't call, right? You can't say. So then there are quantities beyond these 3. So you need to add up more quantities. Okay, so that is required to define, because I know when I say I want to tell when the water boils, I can say 50 gram water boils. Okay, so I have to give another quantity which is a temperature. So then temperature is also going to be a fundamental unit. Am I right? That is not going to be, I can't express those with the term of this. So then my fundamental units keep building. So then they written in the book, So this was, there is one more system. So this is CGS and this is MKS. I forgot to mention that. FPS, yes, exactly correct. FPS system, so which is not being used nowadays. I can tell you one interesting story of SI units and FPS system. Do you know one thing? FPS system is what? Foot, pound and second. Oh my god, I forgot that satellite, that space shuttle. I forgot the name of it. Which was that shuttle? Do you know there was when NASA was sending a shuttle, okay, and the shuttle went and crashed. I think Mars lander, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm not wrong, Mars lander. It went and crashed on the surface of Mars. Mars lander, I guess, yeah, that's one. My memory is getting poor. Okay, and what is the mistake? Why it is found is when the people are doing the calculation, one guy was using this FPS system, another guy was using this MKS system. Okay, and when they combine, they have to convert back, make a single unit, and the conversion they made a mistake, and the satellite went and the rocket went and fall on the Mars. So the millions of dollars loss. Okay, so that's what is important. This is why human error can be costly. Okay, can come out to be very costly. Fine, so these are the fundamental units. So now I said, so what happened? So we found when I say temperature something, today we know these 3 quantities are not sufficient for our day-to-day life. The fundamentals has to be more and more because there are many things. Okay, so then I will read you this one. This line is an interesting one. So the first 3 systems, CGS, MKS and FPS were used extensively till recently. They were using. In 1971, the 14th International General Conference on Weights and Measures recommended the use of International System of Units. Okay, and this international unit is called as your SI units. Okay, standard. So international. So then they got a new unit. Okay. So which they call it as your SI units. Right. International standard units. Okay. So and this is what the international unit was same as MKS. Okay. So we had this meter, kilogram, and second. Okay, meter, kilogram and second. But added to it, we had other fundamental units also. Okay, what are other fundamental quantity what are things you can say? One I told you temperature, correct? This is length. Okay, I shouldn't call it distance, it's length. Okay, length, mass and time. Yeah, the right word is length. The right word is length. Okay. Okay, the length, mass and time. Now I said we have some more thing also, right? That is temperature. That's all. Can you think of anything more? For this light, how does light grows? Current, right? Current also needs a unit. Current I can't measure in a weight or mass or length or temperature or something. I have to measure current by some quantity. So I need a current also. And then how much light? This bulb is brighter than the tube light. Or this tube light is brighter than tube light means I can say halogen lamp is brighter than this tube light. So then the light, the how luminous a star is, how luminous a sun is, that can't be quantified as a mass or gram or something, right? There I have to define another one. So what you call as the luminous intensity. What is luminous intensity? So then what happened? So your SI units were much beyond these three things. SI units started having lot many fundamental units. Okay. So what were the fundamental units for in SI units? Let me write it out here. See, it doesn't mean 1971 only people realize the current and all. People are using it. These were the basic units. People are using it. Many people are using different units. So then it was a confusing. We all to form one standard unit which everyone will follow, but still nobody follows. Okay. For example, astronomers still use CGS system. Okay. Other people's and many people use MKS system, SI system. Okay. Still nobody follows the standard units, but of course that was a recommendation. So in a standard SI units, what happened? Your SI units. So we should have a fundamental quantity, correct? So what we are going to have is a fundamental quantity. I'm writing it very small, you can see, right? Fundamental quantity, and then I will write the unit, SI unit, and then I am going to call it as the symbol. I am going to write down the symbol also. Okay. So now let us write down what are the fundamental quantities we have. First one is very simple, length. The three thing will be always a fundamental thing is there. Length, mass and time. Am I right? These three are the fundamental. And now added to it we had more also because these three are not sufficient, correct? So what are the next one? Tell me.
Temperature.
Correct, temperature. Then current, electric current. Electric current. Yes, luminous intensity. And there's one more quantity which we call the amount of substance, which is often when you do chemistry you will know. You call 1 mole of substance, right? That comes as a count. Okay, so amount of substance. Avogadro number. If you remember, you read it, Avogadro number and all. So that's also quantity. How many atoms? Just a number. Okay, that also defines one fundamental quantity. That you can't again define by any of these one. They are, see when I say these are none of these quantities are basically derived. None of them can be expressed in terms of another quantity. You got it? You can never write electric current in terms of any of these quantities. Temperature is a fundamental thing. You can't write temperature in terms of length, mass, time, or nothing. Okay, so these are all the fundamental quantities which cannot be expressed by any other quantity. They have to be individual one quantity. Okay, so these are the fundamental quantities, and the units I told for length. What will be the unit of length in SI units? We wrote it there, right? Meter. Meter, and for mass, kilogram. And for time, again second. And for temperature, do you know what is it? Kelvin. A degree Celsius is also one of the unit. In SI unit, they use Kelvin. Okay, electric current is ampere. Do you remember? And luminous intensity is called candela. You will not use it right now, just a unit, you know. Amount of substance, you know it is mole. Am I right? So these are the units we have. And what will be the symbol? Symbols are, okay, let us write down the symbol. What will be symbol of meter? That is M, correct. Kilogram, kg. S is, second is S. Kelvin, K. Ampere, A. Candela. Candela is CD there, right? Yeah. CD. And mole is again you call MOL something. Okay. So this is, you should remember this fully. Okay. So this is your SI units. When you call SI fundamental units, how many fundamental units we have? Tell me the count. How much we have? 7. So these are the 7 fundamental units we use in physics. Okay. So all other quantities we use in physics can be derived in terms of these 7 fundamental quantities. Okay. So these are the fundamental units. Okay. So we will not go look into individually CGS, MKS, FPS or something. Hereafter we will use only the SI units. That is the standard units which is accepted in that conference. Okay. So we will use these are the units we will be using. Fine. So then all other quantities I told you, this is the fundamental units, and what was that? And the derived units are the something example like Newton, which is a unit of force, joules, which is a unit of energy. They are not the fundamental because they can be expressed in terms of these fundamental quantities. So those are the derived units or derived quantities also. You got it? So that's the way measurements are done in the physics. So first I have to do any physics, I need to know the measurement. And measurement is, at the moment when I say measurement, what we are doing is it's not a qualitative science, it's a quantitative science. So once you got a measurement, then it becomes quantitative science. Once you have a measurement, then I can define the fundamental measurements. And then all the other quantities I can express in terms of fundamental measurements, and then I can proceed in my physics subject, physics science. Okay. And fine. Physics stream of science, yeah, fine. Okay, yeah. So these are all the one we had. And then, yeah, that's another one very interesting thing. That is your supplementary units. Yes, that's an interesting thing. So yeah, you could have said that, you missed it. So that is, this is not sufficient. So there is something called a supplementary units. So these were actually essentially required for some cases. For example, okay, I am going to rotate you by 20 gram. Can you do that? You can't, right? I can't rotate you by 10 meter. I have to give a measurement for an angle. Am I right? Can you define angle in a temperature, any of this quantity? You can't, right? So angle is also one of the fundamental unit. Okay, so an angle will come in and when I say angle, it always comes in a 2D plane. Correct? Because I am going to draw a line. If you remember in mathematics, we saw that, right? We had a ray, and we rotated ray by certain angle theta. Am I right? So these are things. So this angle is also a fundamental quantity. Okay. So then I have to. But why we call it a supplementary is, why we call it as not as a fundamental. Why we call supplementary is angle can be represented in terms of these quantities. How? I will tell you how. So still we use it. We have to use. We need this unit, but this unit is not completely fundamental. For example, if you remember, I take a part of a circle. Okay, and this is the angle theta. So if this radius is r, okay, and if this arc length is L, okay, so do you know definition of radian? One radian is the angle made by an arc of length when L is equal to r. So then this theta, you call it as a 1 radian, correct? So now if you remember in that lecture, was it depending upon the length, or you take whatever the big circle, this angle is going to be same. Am I right? So, and we also saw, so this, if you remember, so then we can we also saw the length will be in when you write, when the theta, when the angle is measured in radians, you know, that when, suppose for example, you can go back and refer that lecture, okay? If you see, when the angle is measured in radians, so then the length of the arc will be r theta. You remember? Okay, so then I can always write my angle. I can easily write my angle as theta is length by r. Correct? So then this is fundamental quantity. Am I right? This is also fundamental quantity. So a theta can be expressed in terms of the fundamental units. Okay, but you see, what is the length, unit of length?
Meter.
What is the unit of radius?
Meter.
So meter and meter cancels. Okay, so that is not, I can't express it. Correct? I can't express it because both the units cancels. So then I need to include theta as one of a unit. Am I right? So this angle, which we call as a plane angle, correct? So this is what we call as a plane angle. Okay, a plane angle. So this plane angle is also supplementary unit. See, this is the ratio of the length. What is the plane angle definition? Length by r, correct? So this is the ratio of the length of the arc divided by the radius. So this is the ratio of the length of an arc of a circle to the radius of the circle is this circle as shown in the figure. Okay, so and okay, they have written there is d theta equal to ds by r. Okay, in the book they have written d. D is a, we will see what do you mean by this d theta. Okay, so we will see it in the later on classes. Okay, derivatives and all. And another one is, so they mentioned it as, they didn't mention it as theta in the book if you see, so they write it as a d theta, and they call d theta is equal to dl by r. Okay, so what do you mean by this d and all, we will see it in the later on classes. Okay, so for time being let us assume it as theta. And well, so this is the angle. When I draw the angle circle on a board and I have this angle, I define this one, right? But this is a 2-dimension. Am I right? Because I am going to draw it on a board. My real life is not 2-dimension, it's a 3-dimension. Okay, so when I see a star, or when I see a building, when I see a window, when I see something, okay, I can tell you from here, I can't simply by seeing, I can't tell you what is the length of the window. All I can say is, what is the angle that window is making in my view. Okay, and that angle is not a 2-dimension angle because it has all the surfaces, right? It's a 3-dimension angle. So what we call is a solid angle. What is that? Solid angle. So solid angle can be exactly the same planar angle. You assume it is in 3-dimension. What is a circle? What is the equivalent of a circle in 3-dimension? Ball. Am I right? Sphere. Okay, what you taken? You taken a small arc in the circle and then you define the angle there, right? Now you try, think the same thing is in 3-dimension. So then what happens? The circle is going to become a ball, a sphere. Okay, and there you say a small arc, it's going to be a small box or some small area, correct? And then, so the length what you have, the length is going to be the area, correct? So then what happened, how this image looks like is, so you have a sphere let me call it as a sphere, okay, then I have a small area I have defined on this circle, and then this is the center of the sphere. Sorry, it's not circle, this is the center of the sphere, okay. So this is the area on the surface of the circle, okay, and then at the center it is going to some angle. This has to be defined. This area has to be defined as some angle. Okay, so that angle I am going to call it a solid angle, which is same like this. Okay, so the length here become the area here. Am I right? And so then what is the ratio which makes it dimensionless? Am I right? There should be no unit. So then I should have something, or how they represent that is by omega. Solid angle is represented as omega. So omega equal to, in the place of length, I am going to have area, correct? So area, and then I can't just divide by r.
There are 4
Yeah, the 4 r's, no, 4 r's are also there, because if you see, the angle measure should have no dimension, am I right? The length and length has to cancel. So if I write r, then area is square units, meter square. Okay, and then when I put r, then it becomes meter. So then angle is having a meter unit. Okay, so what I should do, equivalent what I should get is what? R square. If I write r square, then this quantity doesn't have any units, and we call this as your solid angle. In book, how they write is d omega is equal to dA by r square. So when you call d omega, this dl, d theta, what you call infinitesimal. That means a very small area. Okay, when I take a very small area, I call it as dA. When for small area, very small, very tiny area, will subtend a very small, tiny angle. Am I right? That's the infinitesimal. But tiny area doesn't mean r is tiny. Correct? So that's why d of a, r is same thing. Similarly here also, if I take a very small, tiny l, this is going to make a subtend a tiny angle. So that what they call is a infinitesimal. It's the opposite to infinite. Infinite is uncountable, right? Huge, large. Infinitesimal is the smallest. Okay, so that's what when they write d theta, dl, d omega, and dA, these are basically infinitesimals. Okay, so this we will see it in the later class, why this infinitesimal and this all this calculus and all, we will see some other time. Okay, as you go in, I think probably you will have those things in your book. I have not seen the complete book. Maybe in mathematics they may be having. Okay, so then there are some problems that you try it later on. Okay, the next class we will do. And you know the relation between, the angle we define here as radians. That is a circular system. In mathematics we saw there is another one system, that is a sexagesimal. Yeah, you know the conversion and all. Okay, so that is given in your book. Anyway, that's we already seen in the mathematics book. Okay, and these are some important conventions for the use of SI units. Okay, I am reading this because this is just you have to know it. Unit of every physical quantity should be represented by its symbol. Velocity, I should not write m-e-t-e-r-e divided by second. I write m by a second, right? M is the symbol for meter. S is the symbol for second. You have to define like that. Full name of a unit always starts with a smaller letter, even if the name is after the person. Full name meter, when you write a meter, the first letter cannot be capital. You should write here, you see, I have written everything wrong here. Okay, so you have to correct. It's all small m, small k, small s and everything. Okay, and similarly when you are doing Newton also. Newton is the name of a person. And we know by in English, you know, whenever you write any name of a person, the first letter has to be capital. Okay, but when it comes in units, it should be small. On the other hand, the symbol of that name will be capital. See, for example, meter, we write everything small m. When I write in a symbol, we write small m. For the Newton, so Newton when we write it as the symbol will be capital. That is true with the Kelvin also. Huh? Kelvin is a name, so it's capital. Ampere also. Okay, this is a name of a people, so that will be capital. Okay. So that's the one, and so the full name of a unit always starts with small letter, even if the name is after a person. Example: Newton, Joule, etc. But symbol for unit named after a person should be in capital letter. Okay, so and the next one is symbols for units do not take plural form. In fact, I wrote somewhere else wrong and then I corrected it. I wrote seconds. Okay, you can't say meters, kilograms. It doesn't have a plural form. You write kilogram, meter, 5 meter, 10 meter, 20 gram. Okay, 20 second. Okay, so it doesn't have a plural form. So these are the commonly people use. Even in advanced class also people use it. But okay, these are the how you should convention to be used. If we use, doesn't have a problem. But if you use, your marks will be cut. Okay. Okay. So symbols for units do not contain any full stop. It is not 25 kilogram full stop. You shouldn't have full stop. Okay, kg. Okay. The units of physical quantities in the numerator and denominator should be written as a ratio. For example, SI unit of acceleration is meter per second square. Yeah, see, that's what. You see, what you have tried is acceleration. Do you remember? We got acceleration unit is what? Meter per second square. You shouldn't write it as meter per second per second. Okay, this is wrong way. Either you can write like this or you can write like meter second square. This is also allowed because it means inverse, right? That's also allowed. That's what they say. So this is the one. Use of combination of units and symbols for units avoided when the physical quantity explained by combination of two. Yeah. See, you are not supposed to combine the names, units and the symbols. See, for example, what the example they say is, see, you shouldn't write like, this is not allowed, joule. Joule, okay, joule per kg Kelvin. This is not correct. Why? Why? The symbol of joule is what? J, energy. Am I right? So what you have to write is J per kg per, Kelvin, not per Kelvin. Okay. Why we are having capital A? Joule is the name of a person. And remember, joule is not a fundamental unit. It is not here. Joule is a derived unit because joule is a unit of energy. Okay. Energy can be expressed in terms of these units. Okay. So that's an important part. And the prefix symbol is used before the symbol of the unit. Yeah, prefix symbol is okay, you know that. Sometimes we call as a millisecond. Okay, so second, if it is second is S, millisecond is ms. Now, how do you differentiate between meter and second? If I write ms, you should know millisecond, correct? So this, what you do is, when you write every unit, you give a space in between. When you combine them together, that means it's a millisecond. Okay, that's what. See, the prefix symbol and unit symbol constitute a new symbol for the unit which can be raised to a power of 10, okay, powers of 10. Okay, that's why you know that. You know this earlier classes. Millisecond, microsecond, nanosecond. Then you can go for kilo. Okay, and that go for the meter also. Millimeter, centimeter, micrometer. Okay. So this you can use those units also. Symbols can be used. Yeah, space or hyphen must be introduced while indicating multiplication of two units. Okay, for example, meter per second. If you want to write it as meter per second, velocity, unit of velocity. If you want to write it as, where will I write? We have meter per second, correct? If you want to write, you shouldn't write like ms minus 1. You need to give what they say, either you give a hyphen, okay, or you give a space. Okay, clear? So that's what these are the conventions which is being used. Okay, but many cases nobody use. Many cases people miss it. Okay, you know, an advanced level. Okay, so these are the conventions. So now let us. Okay, we will see it in the next class. That okay. So we will go into the. Let us see the different fundamental. Let us look into more carefully. I think in your book they will not see all the units. What they have is a measurement of length. They have measurement of time, mass they have, and measurement of time they have. I think that's it. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, then they have dimension analysis. Okay, they are not gone into your other units, so you are saved. Okay, you don't have to really bother about other one. Only these three will be used in your 11th standard. Okay, so then the dimension analysis. Those all will be interesting. Yeah, then you have errors and all. Oh, you have a lot of things. Okay, so we will see these things. So in the next class, we will see about the measurement of length, measurement of mass, and measurement of time. Okay, and then the next class we will go over dimensional analysis. Okay, yeah, we'll start.